Well, you join me today driving on another historical adventure. I'm off to the village of Imber, and as you can see, we've had quite a bit of rain, and so it's quite wet. But we're going to have a look around Imber. Lots of people have done Imber before and had a look at it, and they put it down as hidden village, forgotten village, and all the rest of it. It's not forgotten. I think it'll always be in our memories. As kids, we were always brought up here by our parents and shown the village, which was evacuated in 1943 when the Ministry of Defence basically got hold of the village for training purposes, and they never gave it back. So it remains on the Salisbury Plain. And in a short while, we turn off to the right, and we go down to a horrible mucky road, but what do you expect with tanks driving over it all the time anyway. We'll see if we can have a look at the village and see if we can see anything that's there that we actually can recognise. Each time I visited, I find it a bit of a hollow shell of a place. It's sort of lost all its meaning, lost all its interest. It's just interesting in that it's a shell of a village. It's almost like a grave of a village, which is really sad. But from a historical point of view, it was mentioned in the Domesday Book. It's quite interesting to see, but it's a sad part of history as well. And there's some other bits that we'll go through while we're there, I think, and just have a look around. The last time it was open, there were over 4,500 people that actually came to the village, so it's like mega time of people coming to it. And you can see that the land's still used for agriculture, and the road is as filthy as anything. I have to wash the car after this, I'm sure. But it's just fun to come and visit these places. It's not that hidden. It does have a hidden part of history to it, which I shall cover later, which happened in 1942, before a visit by Winston Churchill, no less. Comparing him with Alfred the Great is about the only person I can compare him with in history, and it is really different to come along here. And you see there's a lot of low-lying water around at the moment. And we're heading into the village now. Here we go. Packed out with people. No surprise. I thought there'd be a lot of people around, and there are. All trying to experience everything to do with it. And we'll have a little look around when we get here. I think it's just a thing to do on that. Just have a little look. Get past this car. See if there's anywhere to park. Probably not, but there we are. And you can see today how busy it is with people everywhere. Well, here I am at the church, and you can see that the church itself has been rebuilt several times in different stages of construction. But the main thing is it's a part of the village which remains apart from anything else, really. And that's what I'm here to do, look and see what I can find of the village itself and what is left. Well, I'm going to walk on now and leave the church and head into the village. . The Northern Irish village that was built, actually, so that's part of history of the village again, as opposed to the church, which is very interesting and it holds a lot of memories for some remaining people. Actually, the Northern Irish village down there is a new part of history for the village, because it was a farm down there before and now it's been built as that, and obviously the Northern Ireland conflict's finished, so it's a piece of stagnant history. And these signs are around the whole village everywhere, warning you not to get off of the carriageway itself, which is for obvious reasons. You can just about see inside some of the buildings, but it is strictly no access, for safety reasons really, and you can understand that. But it's just a sad shell of what it was. It's part of the old farmhouse here. Well, I'm going to leave the old farmhouse now and walk further on down the road. The barn off of here has been used for things in the past when they have village reunions and things like that, but I don't think it'll be used again. That's the building off to the left in here. The hidden part of history of this village is that in 1942, a hurricane on an exercise for D-Day actually shot 25 people and killed them, thinking it was part of the exercise, with cannons from the actual gun itself, and injured a further 71. And it was kept quiet till after the war, and Winston Churchill visited the week after it happened in 1942, not knowing that that had happened, and it was an American pilot who was actually killed in the war himself. But a very sad story for those people who live locally who knew it was hushed up on top of everything else. So that is the hidden history of this village, and it is a very sad place. It's not no atmosphere, it's hollow, it's empty, but it's all part of our history. And the history that's been added to is the Northern Irish village and the other bits on there. So I'm going to walk further on into the village now. Well, these are the council houses that were built, and they only were lived in for a couple of years. They originally had bay windows on them before they turned them into a scene of Beirut in this place. And shame really. Built in the 1940s. Would have been good for people to live in, and never really lived in at all as such. But all part of the history of the area and adding to it over the generations. The village itself is over 1,000 years old. Probably dates back further than that. Bronze Age, Roman. It's just incredible. Really is incredible. Well, here I am at Imber Court. Voila, Imber Court. And This was like the posh house of the village, and it had ponds, stables, everything in there. Absolutely fantastic place, and now it's just a rebuilt several times shell, covered up in several ways, so just really sad, but nice to see, all part of our history again. Well, it's starting to thin out of people here now, which is good, but the light's fading, so I'm going to have to be relatively quick. But in this section of road here, there was actually a smithy, shops, lots of different things going on down in this section of road. And now, can't really see a trace of those things at all. So this is all that remains of the Baptist church, these few graves here, and very sad indeed, because it would have stood over on the hill, and the hill was over this way here, so roughly in that location there. Almost turned into like some sort of weird everything. It's like a body with no insides everywhere. I suppose places would look like this after a nuclear war or something, but it's interesting to come and see. I enjoy coming out here because it's in the middle of Salisbury Plain and it's quite a nice nature spot, but I'm still not sure at all. I'm now leaving Imber after a nice time of looking around, and met a nice young family to be speaking to them about the history of the village. But it's just nice to come out and have a look, and I hope you'll do the same. It'll motivate you to do that and enjoy yourself. That's what it's all about. History's for enjoyment, not for grind.